Welcome to Rooted Talks, a space for real conversation about change, growth, life, and learning to bloom in the season that you're in. This is episode 1 of a new series that I've decided that is necessary and important, and I hope that you find it encouraging. In this series, I hope that you can learn a little bit more about me. I'll be sharing my personal stories, motherhood, life transitions, lessons, reflections, and experiences behind the brand Rooted Change Wellness. So the big question is, why did I start Rooted Change Wellness? I get this question a lot. And honestly, I've been working on this brand for longer than it became an actual company that it is today. When I started my journey with my master's in public administration, the first thing that they told us to do was outline our mission, values, and vision for ourselves. And at that time, I knew what the words meant, but I still found myself giving generic, simple, safe answers. By the time my 2 years was completed, I kept revisiting my mission, my vision, and my values. And I had indirectly created a brand, but it wasn't yet a company. So I knew what I wanted my company to be. I wanted it to show compassion and integrity and be an honest company. And I wanted to be able to help people. But at that time, I wasn't sure what I would actually be doing. And then I noticed that I had always been brought back to motivational speaking, which I have been doing motivational speaking for a very long time. I started college at 16, so I started getting into speech and doing research and developments and other such things. And that's kind of where I found my passion to encourage people. But my motivational videos came a little later in my career as I built my confidence and moved forward with what I wanted for my life. So a lot of people say, who am I? So I am the founder of Rooted Change Wellness, and I'm also a mother. I have a 5-year-old. She has level 3 autism, so she is literally my driving force behind this. I'm also married, and I do suffer with chronic illnesses, which is fibromyalgia. Accepting all of those challenges just in that moment was a lot for me, and I had to pass through so much, and I really had to go back to the beginning and the beginning of my journey, because I've always been on the journey of self-care and self-development. And when I found out that my daughter had special needs, it wasn't a sad day, it wasn't a scary day. It was just, wow, I really need to be present for her, and I need to show up for her. And everything was centered around advocating for my child and making sure that she was safe and content. And it was hard because you just see the way the children have to go through life and the struggles that they have because they have special needs. So then I realized that it was a little challenging to, really navigate the workplace when you have a child with special needs, because it's a responsibility that only you pretty much are carrying. When in reality, there are lots of parents and single parents and grandparents that are raising children with special needs. So I'll definitely tell you this, you're not alone in that. However, I began to kind of lose myself in the process of trying to care for my daughter and making sure that I was her greatest advocate. And it kind of led me to not practicing all the self-care that I needed to practice. And I had to become more intentional about what I wanted. And one situation that stood out to me, I haven't really quite shared with many of my followers, but I am a paralegal, but I am not currently practicing under an attorney. So I was interviewing with a law firm, and I was putting applications through, and it was just exhausting. And I got in the interview, and it was just such a long process to actually get a physical interview. I had to do so much work to get to that interview. And when I finally got there, I was like, oh my God, this got to be the last part of this particular interview. And I got halfway into the interview, and it was more of an interrogation instead of an interview. And I just remember speaking to myself as they asked the routine questions. Why should we hire you? What skills can you bring? Are you reliable? And other such questions like that. Just the regular questions. But he was really digging deeper. And I just remember just kind of sounding out and saying, as I answered all the questions to precision, and I said, I think I want to start my own company. And I walked out of that interview, and I knew that I was done, and that I didn't want to work another W-2 job or work for anyone else. I wanted to finally pour myself into something that would give me purpose. And I had always felt that my job was giving me purpose. But in reality, I realized that my job wasn't giving me purpose. And I took a year off to just really ground myself and recenter and accept and decompress and really work on my habits and really address the things that I needed to address. And starting this company has been one of the hardest things that I've done. But all at the same time, I feel that I'm really finally walking in the path that I'm supposed to be in. Because we find our purpose and we'll attach it to things like our children, a company, friend groups, and other such community activities. But what I wanted for Rooted Change Wellness was to be an intimate, fun, loving, compassionate company. We're not an AI-driven company. I am a real person. People are able to reach out to me, and they love that connection. And that's the way Rooted Change Wellness is going to stay, because we are humans, and we're interacting as humans, not humans to robot. And I believe being able to have someone on the other side of that phone to hear you and be a text away and a phone call away is something that you can't beat. And no robot can replace that. And I just am so happy to be able to share this journey and to share this business and just really get people to slow down, because I realized after being diagnosed with fibromyalgia that I had to slow down and start to put myself first. I had served in churches, served in organizations. I was also part of a service fraternity. That's how much I really loved serving my community. I was part of Alpha Phi Omega. Let me know if you also was part of Alpha Phi Omega or if you've ever heard of it. But it was such a great experience. And now I realize that it's time to allow people to be able to help serve me, because I had served so much in those capacities. And now my position has changed. And now I want to help other people to create those habits that I've spent over a year and pretty much all of my life trying to master. And the thing is, that word right there, master, we never master it, but we take little small steps to get us to where we want to be. And we don't strive for perfection with Rooted Change Wellness. We strive for intentional daily steps, small steps, not big steps. Rooted Change Wellness represents me as a person to the core. And I know and I hope that it resonates with you all as well. It's been quite a challenge stepping out and not being bound by non disclosure agreements from companies and corporations telling you what to do and what you can't do. And that is where Rooted Talks has started. It's my space to share my story and connect it for you so that it can inspire you. Because sometimes I will say this, is that many of us have had divorces. I'm one of those individuals. We've had failed relationships, we've had failed businesses, we've had chronic illnesses, we've had all these things. And yet the world has a way of making it feel like you're the only one passing through these things. And I'm here today with Rooted Change Wellness to normalize these things and let you know that you're not the only one that's going through this. And you won't be the last person to go through it. But building that community and having those small groups and having a space where you can feel safe, that's what I want. And I remember very clearly when I was working as a case manager for a company of 7 years, and I would sit in my cubicle and I would always be listening to something in my ear, and it's always either a podcast, something about finances, something about self-care and how I could improve myself, something I was always listening to. And those podcasts and those motivational talks is what got me to where I am today. And I do believe that the more we hear, rehearse, and speak, the more we're actually able to change and make those changes. And here at Rooted Change Wellness, I don't want you to just come with a change that you want to make. For example, losing weight. I want to set up a plan for you where you can succeed with that goal by making small steps to help you to achieve your goal, and realizing that you don't have to do it all at once, and realizing that you have a team and someone that'll hold you accountable with love and compassion. That's the key. Coaching is one of those things where I get to guide people to be the person that they want to be. And that's a beautiful thing. And it brings me so much joy to be able to say that I have a platform and I have a place where I can make people feel successful and feel like they can conquer anything. And someone asked me about why did I start Rooted Change Wellness, and I said we all can relate at some point of our life, working our job, going into, we initially get out the bed and we say, I've got this. I'm going to do very good today. I feel great. I've got my tea. I've got my coffee. I'm ready to start my day. The second you hit your office, your boss says something and you go from a 10 down to a 5 in your mood and in your energy. And by the time you leave that job, you're at a 0 with your energy and motivation. And you often ask yourself, what time is there left for me? And that is a really rough situation to be in. And so many people I have spoken to, and they tell me that they feel miserable at their jobs and they don't feel like they're doing anything right. And people are constantly telling them to do more. And doing more is not the answer. Being intentional and setting up simple habits that are achievable is what works. And that was what started the Rooted Change method. The logo of the company is a tree. We start building strong roots, which is our habits and what we want to achieve. We build that and we start at the roots. We build the trunk, we get stronger. We go in an intensity and we say, okay, we did it for 1 day. We did it for 3 days. We did it for 4 days. and you look up and it's been 30 days. And by the time the 12 weeks is up, you'll be grown into a tree. And that idea and that seed that you planted, it's going to grow into a strong tree, because now you have the skills. Now you have everything that you need. And the goal is for you to feel powerful. The goal is for you to feel like you can really conquer the world. And I want to be your safe space. And if you've never felt like you've had that safe space, judgment free, then you're in the right place. And it's just one of those things that I tell people. It's not that I am better. It's not that I'm more unique. It's not that I can speak more eloquently. It's not any of those things. It's just I took one step and I decided that I wanted to leave my value and marker to this world. And I want to see community form. I want to see conversations happen. And with Rooted Change Wellness, we're going to grow together. You're not alone. So this is just the first episode 1 about why I started Rooted Change Wellness. But ultimately, this is going to be a good spot for you to learn about me and maybe see your story in me. Or maybe it'll encourage you to pass through whatever you are going through in your life. And sometimes we need a coach. Many times we know what a nutritionist is, we know what a doctor is, we know what an attorney is, and we know when to go to those people. But with a coach, that's for you. That's the person that's in your corner. I don't know if you've ever found yourself working a job and getting a promotion. And when you get that promotion, you have no one to talk to. You can't say, hey, look at me, I got promoted. Hey, look at me, I've got more money. You can't say that. You can't turn to anybody. And that's what a coach can help you, to celebrate those wins. And I want to help celebrate those small wins with you and those big wins, because I know they're going to come. So that wraps up episode 1 of why I started Rooted Change Wellness. I'd like to see how this has impacted you. Leave a comment, like, and share, because someone needs to hear this message. I'm so thankful for you joining me today. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this video encouraged you, I'd love for you to subscribe, follow, and share it with someone who could use a little encouragement. If you are ready to create lasting change, visit rootedchangewellness.com to book your free discovery call. Until next time, stay rooted, keep growing, and take care.